She doesn't call back like before. Her tone has changed. She talks, but she's not with you, and deep down you feel it. She no longer values you. So what now? Do you beg? Do you chase? Or do you do what few men have the strength to do? Detach. Let me tell you what a Stoic would do. Number 1. The first red flag. The Stoics taught a simple, brutal truth. Do not attach your peace to anything you do not control. Epictetus was clear. External things, like the affections of another person, are not truly ours. A woman's attention, her moods, her approval, that's borrowed currency. And when the loan runs out, it hurts, but it shouldn't destroy you. What you do own is your response. That is the ground you stand on as a man. That is your kingdom. The red flag is subtle at first. She's late to the call. She doesn't ask how your day was. She interrupts more, listens less. She once laughed at your jokes, now she rolls her eyes. Then comes the manipulation, silence when you needed support, guilt tripping when you try to assert a boundary, and you feel it, that knot in your stomach. That sense that you're being played like a puppet on invisible strings. Most men ignore it. They rationalize, they cling. They become beggars at the altar of her validation, but not the Stoic man. The Stoic man feels the tremor in the ground and prepares, not to attack her, but to anchor himself. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This is the war you must fight, not in her direction but inward, against the urge to grovel, to chase, to become a shell of the man you once were. Your duty is not to be liked. Your duty is to remain sovereign. When she stops respecting your time, your voice, your value, you don't chase, you don't explain, you observe and you decide. That is the way of the Stoic. That is the way of the man who leads himself. Number 2. Acceptance is your first victory. Most men don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they refuse to see the truth. They cling to hope like it's a lifeline, whispering lies to themselves just to avoid the pain of letting go. If I just love her harder, if I give her space, she'll come back. But that's not strength. That's denial dressed up as devotion. And Stoicism teaches us that denial is the root of suffering. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in the way they happen. This is the path to peace." That means facing what is, not what you wish it was. When a woman pulls away, it's rarely an accident. It's because she can, because she knows you'll wait. She knows you're still there, holding out, begging for crumbs while calling it loyalty. But the truth? You're not in love. You're in chains. Acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about waking up. The moment you stop chasing the ghost of what used to be, you reclaim your power. You stop being a prisoner of false hope and start becoming a man who chooses truth over fantasy. The Stoic warrior lives by amor fati, to love fate, to embrace life as it unfolds, not as we fantasize it to be. That doesn't mean becoming cold or emotionless. It means becoming clear. A man who accepts reality becomes unbreakable because nothing can surprise him, nothing can shake him. He stands rooted in what is, and from that place, he can build, he can grow, and he can rise. Your first victory isn't moving on, it's facing what's real, and in that moment, brother, you begin to breathe again. Number 3, reclaiming your power. There comes a moment in every man's life when the silence becomes louder than the lies, when the questions like, why did she change, or what did I do wrong, start to sound weak. That's the moment, your moment. Because the truth is, chasing closure from someone who ghosted you emotionally is just another form of self-abandonment. She changed. So what? That's not your mission anymore. Your mission is to change you, to sharpen the blade, not cry over the one who dropped it. The moment you stop obsessing over her choices is the exact moment you begin reclaiming yours. Detachment is not apathy. It's not about becoming cold or numb. It's about becoming clear. You don't detach by scrolling through her feed hoping for a sign. You detach by deleting the damn app. You don't move on by replying to her "I miss you" text at 2 a.m. You move on by letting the message rot in your inbox. Detachment is an act of war, a war within you. It's the discipline of saying no when your flesh wants yes, when your heart wants one last taste of the poison. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Every time you say no to her, you're saying a bold, ferocious yes to yourself. And let's get one thing straight. This isn't about ego. This isn't about trying to win some invisible scoreboard of who cares less. This is about self-respect, about building the kind of inner fortress no woman can crumble with a few sweet words or half-hearted apologies. It's about becoming the man who doesn't need to chase love because he's too busy building purpose, too focused on legacy, too committed to his standards. When you reclaim your power, you stop asking for someone else's permission to heal. You rise, you rebuild. And this time, you don't beg to be chosen. You choose yourself. Number 4, fill the void with purpose. The space she once filled will ache, and that's the truth no Stoic denies. Loss hits like a punch to the gut. The late-night silence, the empty side of the bed, the memory-triggering song, these things hurt. But here's where most men fall into the trap. They sit in that pain, let it consume them, and become shells of who they once were. A Stoic, however, turns heartbreak into horsepower. He doesn't numb the wound, he alchemizes it. He channels the raw, unfiltered agony into action. Because a man who has nothing left to lose has everything to gain if he chooses to rise. This is your rebirth. You don't need her validation. You don't need her return. What you need is purpose. Because purpose fills the void in a way no person ever could. It's time to hit the iron like your life depends on it. It's time to build that business you've been dreaming about. It's time to dive deep into philosophy, discipline, and growth. When Marcus Aurelius lost people he loved, he wrote not to grieve endlessly, but to return to the work of a man, to stand up, to serve the greater good. Dig within, he said. Within is the wellspring of good. That wellspring is you, but you must do the digging. She pulled away. Good. Now you pull inward, into your strength, into your mission, into your higher self. Let her absence be the spark that ignites your transformation. When you live with unshakable intent, you become untouchable. Not because you've become bitter or emotionless, but because you've become whole. No longer do you chase what you lost, you become what you were always meant to be, a man of depth, direction, and discipline. A man not defined by who walked away, but by what he chose to walk toward. Number 5, final detachment, freedom. You'll know you've reached final detachment when her name flashes on your phone, and your pulse doesn't even change. No anger, no craving, no desperate urge to reopen a chapter that nearly destroyed. You just a calm, quiet awareness. She once had me. Now she doesn't, and she never will again. That's not bitterness, that's clarity. It's the moment you stop reacting and start seeing, not her, but yourself. Who you are now, what you've built, and how far you've come. That emotional silence inside you, that's power. Think about the man you were when she had you wrapped around her finger. How much you gave, how often you doubted yourself, how you clung to the fantasy of who she could be instead of seeing who she was. Every text from her back then was a trigger, a test, a wave of hope or hurt. Now it's just pixels on a screen. You don't flinch, you don't fantasize, you don't spiral, because you're not that man anymore. She's not your unfinished story. She's a closed chapter. And you didn't close it out of hate. You closed it because you outgrew the plot. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." You imagined she was your salvation, your destiny, your home. But the real salvation was this: waking up, realizing you were never supposed to be owned, weakened, or broken by love. That love without respect is slavery, and the final detachment isn't about forgetting her, it's about remembering you. The man you were before the obsession, before the self-betrayal, before you confused attention with affection. Your true freedom lies not in what you cut off, but in what you reconnected with, yourself. And here's the twist: you won't need revenge. You won't need closure. You won't even need her to understand what she lost. Because the greatest revenge, becoming a man she no longer qualifies for, let her watch you rise, not out of spite, but out of sovereignty. That's stoicism. That's freedom. And brother, that's the kind of power no woman can take from you again. Conclusion. If you're watching this, it's because part of you wants to rise. You're tired of chasing, tired of begging, tired of being broken. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you finally care about yourself more. Subscribe for more Stoic truths. And if you're ready to become untouchable, comment below. I choose myself.